Hey, this is Gene. Sorry for the not aesthetic looking look. It happens when you get older. Hot, fine hair. I was doing the lawn. I have a pretty big yard, but there's a storm coming here, but I'm going to talk about the storm tomorrow in Bilbao. First of all, we have um, those of us who live in the United States. I know some people watch these videos are overseas because they follow Manchester United, and sometimes they click on my stuff. Sometimes they actually listen to what I have to say. Sometimes they just click off, which is fine. Um, but the United States is one of those countries that has a lot of natural stuff. And I don't even think, I mean, I was in Europe in the early 80s, in the mid 90s up to almost 2000. I was in England and I was in Germany. I don't think you guys have tornadoes. And I'm in an area that gets quite a bit of them. I think Alabama gets like three, they're the top three when it comes to tornadoes. And in the United States, the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of bad ones. We've lost probably 40 or 50 people in Louisville, St. Louis. So the same storm is heading our way. We've already had a tornado east of us, west of us, excuse me. So we're just waiting. We're going to see if there are going to be supercells in front of the line. If that's the case, we might actually get something here in Huntsville. If not, we're going to get a lot of wind and we might lose power and stuff. It's not unusual that we have issues like this. We lose the power for a little bit. Huntsville has also grown up so much that the infrastructure really isn't kept up for it. Way too many of the lines are out, they're not underneath the ground. So there's a possibility we're going to have like transformers that will get hit or something. So this is like 2 or 3 hours before the big one shows up. Hopefully nothing really happens and I'll be able to watch the game tomorrow. Hopefully nothing will happen to anybody in town or anybody that's already been. I know in Tennessee there's a warning right now, and there was a tornado on the ground, uh, like on the state line of Mississippi and Alabama, an hour ago, 2 hours ago. So I was kind of like anxious a little bit, so I went out and did my lawn. Couldn't do all of it because my lawn is almost an acre, and I don't have a riding mower anymore, so I use a push mower, and I'm a little older, and I do it for exercise anyway. But I do want to talk about Manchester United. It's one of the biggest games we've had in a long time. This is probably more important when Jose came and won 3 trophies his first season. We were only at that point, we were only 3 years, 4 years from winning the championship, the Premiership. Now it's been 12 years. And this is different. It's European competition, but it allows us to get to the Champions League if we win the game, and it gives us more money. So maybe we'll get what considered better players than the ones we're actually looking at. Just quickly, I'm not a big fan of Cunha or Cherky. I think both of them can fit in the system, but I think the stats are kind of overplaying how good Cunha is. He doesn't really doesn't run that much, and I think he's the type of guy that might get a lot of red cards. I think he's better than somebody like McTominay. He's a little bit quicker. But I'm not. I never really coached at a very high level, so I can't really say if he's going to be good or not. I'm not sure that the price that he's worth it. When you look at Zacharias or whatever his name is, going to be 55 million, and he's a striker compared to somebody like him who does score goals. But guys like that have one good year and don't always come back and have that second year and have a lot of goals. We'll see. And before I go and tell you where I think about what's going to happen tomorrow, there's been a lot of shit about Rasmus, and a lot of it's deserved. On the field, it's deserved. But he still scored 26 goals in 2 years for a team that doesn't, recently he's been getting the more ball, and he's not doing what he could have done last year. He would probably put some of those away. But his confidence is not really good. My only issue with him has only been this, is that he should get to the point where he's gotten better with how he holds up the ball and passes it back once he gets it. That's my biggest issue with him. The rest of it, that could be worked out. But if he can't actually hold on to the ball and be a focal point when we're going on attack, then he can't play this position and he can't be in the team. That leads me to a lot of people think now that we might go to false nine put Mount up there or even Bruno up there. We did this against City in the FA Cup final last year. And now that Xerxes is back, people are saying he should play. I don't think that's going to happen. Um, it's one of those weird things. I've heard different people give their starting 11, and I think I understand both sides. Whatever they say, hey, I do, because a lot of people are not going to put Ahmad in, and I don't know that I will. But again, you can't be having your great attacking players on the bench and we're down 2 or 3-0. That's the issue. If we don't start with guys who are going to actually threaten Spurs, they're going to have the impotence to go out and dominate the game and maybe get a goal or two on us. And then you're waiting to bring these guys on, and now they're just going to wait back until they can counterattack against us, and then it's going to be 3 or 4-0. And that's the biggest fear that I have against this individual Spurs team, a team that we haven't beat this year. And every time we've played them, I thought that we were better on the field. It's still Spurs in my mind. It's hard for me to believe that we're going to lose to them 4 times in a year. And I think it's totally different when you get to a competition. I mean, years ago, people kept saying that about Liverpool. They couldn't do anything in the league, but they win a lot of cups. They won their own version of the treble. When they won UEFA Cup, the FA Cup, and I think the League Cup. I think they won 3 that year. And guys like us, we won the league that year. We're like, oh yeah, you're just a cup team. Well, that's kind of what we are right now. So, and Spurs really has never done that. So it'll be interesting, and I think that there's going to be a lot more pressure on us than on them, because I think even their own fans, even though they know they beat us 3 times this year, they're going to probably still think that they're probably going to lose because they're used to not doing what they have to do at the end. And the thing is that we're not the greatest ever in finals either. But I think that our overall winning percentage is over 50. So, and there's a weight of wearing that shirt that maybe we'll get some of a decent type of referee in the final. I hope anyway. Anyway, it's starting to get really dark here. I don't think this is going to be anything really. They were just threatening earlier, normal stuff in here, but the other stuff is about an hour or about 100 miles away, and it's just coming at us. And when a tornado or that type of line of people, you can't stop it. And I keep telling myself not to get anxious about it because I can't control what it does. But it's something that I don't think people in Europe really understands that we have to deal with, especially when we live in the areas that this happens a lot. I lived in Florida for a long time, and I had to deal with hurricanes, but we knew they were coming, and we had 4 or 5 days to figure out what we're going to do, and then we could actually wait and see if it actually would go up the side of the land. They go up maybe out to the seas or come actually at us or go whatever. Tornadoes, you probably know that day, and right now, just recently, I'm looking at all the radar stuff. And a lot of this are models. So this is just, they predict what things going to happen. And this is the first time since I've been here, it's been 5 years, that all 3 big stations here have different models. And that's worrying to me, because some of them have it that it's it's almost like an outlier, that we're going to have all these supercells, and we're going to have 3 or 4 tornadoes in a 20 or 30 mile radius. And the other one doesn't show anything. It's like, who are you supposed to believe? Guys, there's an art to forecasting. There actually is. I was in weather. I gathered all this stuff through the satellites, so I know there's art to it. But I'm going to watch what they say. Well, nothing's really going to happen. Other than the fact we have a lot of winds, and that's going to suck, and something might get thrown over, and we might lose power for a bit. But other ones say, no, there's going to be 3 or 4 supercells, and if you don't understand about that. When the supercells is right out in front of the big line, the big line can still have embedded tornadoes, and they can be bad. But when they're out there by themselves and they can just take all that energy inside, that's when you get the F2, F3, F4, F5, and that could level a town, clearly level a community. And then when that happens, your shit's, your life is over for about a year. Hopefully nobody dies. But you'll never get back what you had, replacing your house. And then you're at that point, if it happens to me, if it ever does, and I'm telling you, we've been coming up to northern Alabama for over 15 years, 17 years. And the one time in 2011 when they got hit really hard here, I mean, we were thinking about moving up here, and I was like, I don't know if I can deal with this because just 2 miles up of here, same place got hit twice, and it just they were down to their foundation. It's like these are brick homes, and there's nothing left. So, so of course, when we got here, we decided to get a shelter, and my wife keeps saying that's going to stop us from anything actually happening. Now we just got a tornado watch now. So that was expected. If the first stuff is supposed to come around about 4 o'clock, it's now it's 2:30. So you expect that's going to happen. And of course the environment clearly suits that. So let me get this done so I go inside and take a shower because my wife will be home fairly soon. I'm assuming they'll let out the kids. I'm assuming they should have let them out already. There's a school right behind across the street from me, which I don't like. I don't think the kids should be here right now. They should be already home by now. But anyway, as I said before, there are a lot of people that I watch, and they have different ideas who should start tomorrow. And then there's the part of me that wants to be attacked, and so I get up 2-0, and then you can bring in your defensive type players and clean out the game. And then there's another part of me that says if we just stay close, and then you bring in Ahmad, you bring in Garnacho, you bring in Xerxes, and they can't be able to deal with that, and we'll end up winning doing that. But I don't want to be in a position when we have to come back down 2-0. It would be great, like it was against Leon. That'd be so great that the same shit might happen, and maybe we would win at the end. Part of me wants to have a very controlled 2-0 win like we had at Ajax the last time we won this competition. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a very close game. I wouldn't be shocked if it went to extra time. I don't want to go to penalties because Onana's not good at that. And I wouldn't even think if we get there, it would not shock me. It wouldn't shock me at all if Ruben actually puts in Baron Deer for penalties because he did okay against Arsenal. Anyway, let me tell you who I think he's going to select, and I'll see if there's anything different what I think it's going to be. I think that the peoples that have actually been playing are going to get a little bit of a priority to play, except for one position. I think he's going to start Yarrow. If Yarrow is quote-unquote fit to start, I think he has to start because they're quicker than are in some areas, and we kind of need him there. As well as Maguire's played, he's still not quick. So I think you can have Mazraoui, Maguire, and Lenny Euro. I wouldn't be shocked if Shaw is in there as well, and then he brings in Euro later. But again, we might be down 2-0 at that point. So we'll see. A lot of people think he's going to go right ahead and put Delo back in. I think that's a possibility. If it was, well, I'll just say it. I think that he's going to put Delo in, and I think he's going to put Dorgo on the other side. So that's going to be the back five, and of course Onana is going to be in the goal. The other issue is the midfield. Do we put? Casemiro has to be in there. The question is Ugarte going to start or not, or is he going to put Mainu in there or something like that? I think you have to put Ugarte in the beginning of the game. You have to. Now, it wouldn't be, again, it's not a bad thing if we go in and score a couple of goals and even Ugarte in to see out the game. Okay, that's fine too. If he has because we have these 3 guys that are back, and 2 of them probably can actually play a decent amount of time. It's actually a big headache for him now. It helps us, we think, because probably Lindelof is not going to start, although he probably deserves it. They only gave up 1 goal in 2 games against Bilbao. So, maybe, but I don't think that's going to happen. He's serviceable, and he might come in at the end of the game just to get 4 or 5, make it 6 in the back or whatever. We might see that. This is very difficult, but I'm going to say he's going to put. You got to put Casemiro because he never's lost a European final, and Ugarte is going to do whatever he has to do for 60 or 7 minutes. So I think he's got to be in there. And then the question is, what do you put up front? That's the biggest thing when you talk about we've already done 5-3s. There's only 2 players left, right? So that's Mount and probably Højlund or Garnacho or Ahmad. There's a very good possibility that Garnacho and Ahmad will not fucking even play, will not start. And They might be our best attacking force. Now, having Mount and Bruno in the tens, you might actually see Hoyland getting a decent amount of ball. But if his confidence was better, I'd say that's fine. But it's very, very difficult. The question he's going to have to do, what he wants to do, we have to be in the game, right? We have to be in the game after 60 minutes. I mean, I would like to be up 2-0 or 3-0 and say that's we're in the game, but we have to be within a goal at that point, and then we can bring guys in. If he puts all our attacking players on there and we're not actually doing anything to them, who are you going to bring in? I mean, if you started with Ahmad and Garnacho at the tens, and you put Bruno along with Casemiro and you put Ugarte on the bench, so okay, later on you might be able to bring in Xerxes and Ugarte. That might work. But it's a very difficult thing, and I think he said he's already decided. But I said in the last day he's found out that these other players are available. Now, clearly he'd know this for at least a week or two that these guys might be available. There's no way that I think Xerxes would ever start, but I would not be shocked if he comes in after about 60 minutes. He can hold onto the ball, and he could definitely do things, and he'll pass the ball. We'll see. I mean, if these guys were not coming back, I don't think we had a chance. Well, we always have a chance, right? It's soccer, of course. Everybody has a chance. But it's going to be interesting how he starts. You know, I would not be shocked if he puts Bruno playing back a little bit with Casemiro, and to put Kobe almost an assault. There are so many ways he can go here. He could, but he's going to play his system. He's not all of a sudden say we're going to do a false nine. I think he's going to play his system, and if he trusts that he could put, if Ugarte's in the game, that means he'll help Casemiro, and then Bruno can go up forward, so he'll be one of the tens. And then who do you put with him? You're going to put Garnacho with him? You're going to put Ahmad with him? Or you're going to put Mount? And I think the last 3 weeks, it's clear that he wants Mount to be ready for this, because he's another guy that's going to be a pest to the other team. So you would have Ugarte, you would have Casemiro, you'll have Mount, you'll have Yaro if he's in the game. These are guys that will win their duels. You can't have everybody that's just, even Ahmad is good at that, but he's a small guy, and he can be overdone because he's not that physically strong. But like I said, there's so many ways to go with. He could go with, hell, we could have everybody like when Ollie was still here. I mean, you could have Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, and Delo on the field in the back 4 or 5. We could basically have the same team that was out there when they played in 2021, and we lost in penalties. You could have that same team in the back. But I mean, obviously, there's 4 or 5 guys we know are going to start. I mean, it's going to be Casemiro, Maguire, Bruno, Onana, Mazraoui. Those are locks. The rest of them, Shaw could be in for Euro. Durgo could be in. He'll be in, but you could put Delo and Mazraoui, and you could put Durgo back on the bench, and you could bring in Shaw, Maguire, and Euro. I'm just saying there are a lot of ways that we can go with it. The question is, these players feel comfortable with the players that are on the field that they've actually played with. So I think he's played Mount so much the last 3 weeks, and even Shaw, that I would not be shocked if Shaw goes in over Euro. Or he'll do this thing, like I said, that he'll put Mazraoui out there where Delo would be, and then put Dorgo, and then put Saw, Yaro, and Maguire. And that might be where he goes with, because you have somebody who's been a European final, who's also been in a European Championship final, even though they lost most of them, who's won FA Cups and all that, and Shaw, the guys who've been there. You might see that. I mean, I think that could possibly be the way he might, even though I don't think the Mazraoui is really good out there as a wing back. He's okay. He's better when he's like the center back with. It's great that we have these players back, but it makes it very difficult to select who we're going to do. and how we want to do it. And I just got to believe he doesn't want to lose the game in the first 25 minutes. That's the issue. So, and I think the way that Tottenham plays, will they continually play that way, or will they, because it's a final, they might actually, maybe we'll just play a little bit. I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to respect you, and we'll just wait and wait until we get to the point where now we're going to go try to win the game with 20 minutes left. That happens a lot in finals. It's going to be shocking to me if it's like a 4-3 game, but it could. It absolutely could. If somebody scores early and the other guy responds, you might actually see that. I don't think it's going to be like a Premiership game. I don't see that. I say that because they beat us twice in the Premiership, so maybe I'm telling myself. But I'm just going to say we're going to win the game, and we're going to win. I want to say 3-1. I think it's going to be 2-1 for a long time, and they're going to be back. They're going to be going after us. They might even score first, but they're going to just batter us, and then we're going to get them on the break at the end, and maybe Rasmus will score that third goal, and about 20 minutes left, he'll get out. Xerxes will come in, and we'll just see out the game. That's what I hope for anyway. I love sports. I wouldn't be that upset if it's a very nail biting and we win at the end. The only thing that I want, and I think that most players or most fans want, I just want us to not show up. I just want them to give them everything. If they get beat by the better play, and it's a great shot from 30 yards out, and no one could stop it, a great move that everybody else would have stopped, but that guy just made a move that you couldn't make. As long as no big mistakes, mental mistakes, or don't cover on a corner, allow people to throw in a throw in, and all of a sudden they're on top of you. Just keep our mental. And we did this against City. The only person that had one of a brain fart in the entire game was Onana when he allowed Dorgu to score. Other than that, we were focused. And once we got ahead, I really thought we had a good chance. And got the second goal, and I thought we're going to win this game. And then again, Onana allowed them back in the game. We can't have that. We have to be focused. The only other issue that I worry about is just we've been very fortunate with referees this time in the Europa League. Didn't happen a couple of times ago with Martinez, and I don't want either team to win on a dubious penalty at the end of the game. I want the team who played the best, who gave everything they had to do, got the second balls, was the better team to win it. And overall, Spurs might be the better team. They might be, but as bad as we've been, and as this is obviously our worst Premiership season ever, they're below us. So before people sit there and say we suck, they're below us. They know how to lose. Clearly we knew as well. But they've lost 23 games this year. They know how to fucking lose. And we just have to push that on them. And they've been ahead in every game we played them. So if we get ahead, we'll see if they have the stomach to come back and do anything about it. I just hope we score and then we don't lose it because somebody's a millimeter offsides or something like that. There was really, in my mind, as somebody who loves this game, who's watching it for 45 years, that goal that Harry made the other day clearly should have stand at any time in the history of football ever. I understand that he's offside because his knee was that far offsides, but the way our eyes can look at stuff, there is no way that you can actually make that judgment from an actual human person, and that's how the game should be. There should be like a 0.01% thing, like when you do your wink or something. That should be what it is. It should not be. It should be that, and we should have. If there's no daylight between the defender and the striker, then it should be good. So, and again, this in the FA Cup in the semifinals last year, we would have been out to Coventry in that game because that guy was only off by a millimeter, and we were lucky enough to beat them and in penalties, and then went on to beat City. So we've got some favorable things from that. We've had other bad things that are at it. I don't want it to come down to that. I just want the best team to win. And before I sent off, Spurs are like my second or third favorite team in the Premiership. And it sucks that we're playing them. I've always liked how they play. I like their uniform. I like the old stadium. I like the new stadium. They're always a team that plays really well that never wins anything. And if they were playing anybody else, I'd be all up in it. I have my own Spurs kit at home. I wouldn't wear it, but I definitely would be probably posting it saying "Let's go Spurs" if it was against anybody else. So, but it's going to have. It can't be. Um, the Premiership needs Manchester United to be good. It's just something that it needs. It doesn't mean we have to win every year. We're just getting another one. It's the same thing. That was 20 years ago. Whatever. It says we're a tornado watch. So I'm going to go look at the radar here and see what's going on before I take a shower and see if we're going to see anything. This is, like I said, this is the storm, the real storm, the one that really means anything to me. I don't want anybody to get hurt in my hometown here. I want it just to give us rain and help us out with that and then get out of our fucking area. It's killed a lot of people. This same storm has killed millions of people, or hundreds of people. Well, hundreds maybe. Well, probably by the time of all of it, yes. And, billions of dollars of damage. It's got to fucking end. So, I just hopefully nobody gets hurt. And if something happens, that even if someone's house gets blown up, that nobody dies. Fortunately, this is during the day. A lot of times we get it later in the night, and that's when it's really weird because you can't see anything and you can't really relax. I'm not relaxing right now, to be honest. I'm just talking. I mean, this video shouldn't be 25 minutes long. It should be 10. But I'm hoping it just gets it finished itself. But I'm gonna say 2-1, possibly 3-1. Hopefully it's done in 90 minutes, but hell, whatever. We're Manchester United. Even if we're up 2-0 with 1 minute left, I'm still going to be worried, and I'm still going to be shitting bricks until the final whistle hole happens. Like I said, we've been very fortunate the last 30, 40 years as fans of this team. And I think a lot of young guys think they have an entitlement to we should get shit like this all the time, and they're ready to just throw away players because they don't play well. And I can't do that a 22-year-old. I can't do a 20-year-old. We talk about the enormity and responsibility to be the number 9 for Manchester United when you first come in, when you never had more than 15 goals in a season anywhere until he did last year. And he comes into the game, and really we all probably thought maybe Ronaldo or somebody would still be here, but that didn't happen. And he was in charge of all that, and he got a little bit injured now. But he played every team, and then he played this year as well. And he's got 26 goals in 2 games or 2 years. Yeah, it's not where it should be, but I would love him to win the game for us. But there are a lot of guys I want to have that as well. Casemiro to win, or even Maguire to win it, or whoever. Mount had his thing in the semifinals, but probably the best thing that would have been is if Rasmus gets the winner, or gets like a brace and we win 3-1 or something like that. And the thing is, he can do it. He could definitely do it. And I think for him, probably the best thing would be have Bruno and have Mount up in the front at the number 10s. If it's Garnacho or Ahmad, I don't think you can see the ball that much. He might. Ahmad might actually pass it for a little bit. I think at this point he's going to actually sit both Ahmad and Garnacho. That's the thing that's going to shock me, because everybody thinks Ahmad's the greatest thing of all time, and he didn't do anything in his last game, but everybody thinks he's the next greatest thing, and there's something there. But we'll see. He's lost twice in European finals, so hopefully the third time will help him. Anyway, I gotta stop. It's almost 30 minutes. I gotta check the radar, take a shower, take a little prayer for everybody around here and people downline and people that are going through it right now. Whether you people believe that stuff or not, I will do it because I think that's the right thing to do. When you can't really control what the weather does. Like I said, this is a totally thing that the United States, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't remember any of that when I was over there that we ever had that. We had the gales. in England. I remember that, but not this. But anyway, I'll let it go. I probably will come out before the game tomorrow, and I'll give you my full, what I believe. If whatever his actual selection is, I might come on before that and give my thoughts on that. I'll let you know if anything happened here, or if we lose our power. I may have to go someplace to go watch somewhere else and listen to it on. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But you guys have a good day, and thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later.